All right, so I hope what we've created here, what we've set up here is making sense. Just to reiterate one more time, we've set up two media queries, one for the medium resolution, one for the low resolution. So we're actually going to wind up with three groups, three lists of CSS rules, the third list being the list of rules that you and I already established, because why rebuild what we've already created? Okay, and this is really all a part of the process of converting an existing WordPress theme, which we have here, into a responsive theme. Okay. Now, as I said in the previous exercise, I want to test this first to make sure that it actually works. I don't want to do 3 or 4 hours worth of work only to realize that it doesn't actually function correctly. So give me a moment here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to head down to my desktop one more time, into my project files folder, which I still have kicking around. And inside the project files folder, I have a file here called empty.css. Go ahead and pop this guy open. What I've done here is I've taken our existing list of rules from the previous course, which is, of course, driving the formatting of our WordPress theme. And as you can see, I removed all of the CSS properties. We have the CSS rules and the structure that accompanies them, but no defining properties. Nothing's in there. That's why I call it empty.css. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of this information here, all this content, and copy it. Okay, and then you can close out of empty.css if you wish. And then back to style.css, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop my cursor between the squiggly brackets for the medium resolution media query right in here, and I'm going to go and paste just like so. Okay, so this is our second set of CSS rules, and I'm going to do the exact same thing for our low res, something like this. Okay, so we have 3 copies of the exact same set of CSS rules. 2 of them happen to be empty. Okay? All right, good stuff. Now, the moment of truth. Shall we test this? Let's see what we get here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it really, really simple, as always. I'm going to go and find header for my medium resolution display. And by the way, this is where responsive design sometimes gets complicated because we're dealing with multiple lists of CSS rules, so you have to make sure you're in the right list and changing the right rule and so on and so on. So make sure you're looking at your medium res display. This is one of the reasons why I throw these comments in, by the way. Make sure in your medium res display, medium res displays header. Very simple change. You guessed it, background. Let's set them to red. Okay. I'm going to scroll down now to the low res displays media query, looking for his header, and I'm going to change his header's background to purple, okay? Just like so, okay? All right, so we're going to have red applying if the condition is met that we've specified in the media query. We're going to get purple, but only if the condition for the low-res media query is satisfied. Go ahead and save up your work, and let's head to your browser and test it out. Go ahead and refresh your browser, Control or Command R on your keyboard if you would, okay? I'm going to grab the edge of my browser window, and I'm going to start scaling. We still have a black header at this stage of the game, meaning that it's using the original set of CSS rules that we have there. Continue scaling. There's red. I know for a fact that my medium resolution media query is indeed functioning. Wonderful. If you're scaling down and you're not getting red, by the way, just double check your code. Double check your medium resolution media query code and that you've placed your CSS rules between the squiggly brackets. Okay? Now, as I continue collapsing the width of my browser, you may wind up getting the purple. I don't. The reason why I don't is because my web browser won't scale beneath 400 pixels, so I can't get down to that 320, which is a bit of a drag. However, maybe it's high time we start using Screenfly instead. So inside Screenfly here, I've already loaded this in. I showed you how to do that earlier on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and refresh here, okay? And what I'll do is I'll head to my mobile device drop-down menu, and what the heck here? Let's try iPhone 5. It's got a 320 pixel width there. Scale that down. Oh, beautiful. Purple. We get purple. We know that the media query is functioning correctly. All right? I'm going to now let's try the iPad, for instance. Scale that up. We have red. And maybe I'll crank this up to maybe a 15-inch notebook. There we have black. So I know that all 3 media queries are functioning correctly, So now the name of the game is rebuilding and adjusting the existing WordPress theme for, of course, the tablet devices, the medium resolution, and also the low resolution, the smartphone or the small screen version of our WordPress theme. So I hope you have your media queries functioning correctly. If you're having any trouble at all, just double check your code and make sure it's exactly the same as my code.